To discuss all that has happened, all that has transpired over the course of the last 72 hours now. Operation Sindur is still on, and to discuss this further, I am now being joined live by Dr. Tara Karta, who is a former director of National Security Council Secretariat and a former senior fellow at the US Institute of Peace. Dr. Karta, thank you so much for joining me here on the broadcast. Ma'am, the Indian Ministry of Defence mentioned the use of kinetic and non-kinetic means which were used to avert those drone swarms sent by Pakistan. If you can explain to our viewers what essentially these would mean, and do you feel the Akash Tir system, which seems to have come out with flying colours at this point, successfully thwarting all these drones, not one of them landing, no casualties, no material losses? What exactly transpired last night? How India defended its civilians and military installations?
It's essentially become a fight between Chinese systems and Russian and Israeli systems. And I'm sorry, the Russian and Israeli systems are winning hands down. So the S-400 is formidable, plus there are other systems which I would not like to...
No, please. Specify. We will not declare anything at this point which gives away anything for our armed forces. That remains a stance that we take at WION. So only what is out in public domain, that is what we will discuss. Nothing that goes against our efforts at this point. Please, ma'am, go ahead.
See, and also the quality of their drones are all Chinese and Turkish. As of now, I haven't seen any sign of the Turkish Bayraktar, what they call the long-range missile, and hopefully it is not there. But as of now, these drones which they are sending across the short-range loiter munitions, kamikaze drones, they're not really the, what shall I say, the ones like Kinloom, for example. They're not the high-end drones that we are using in terms of the Israeli drones which are in operation. So it is a very, very amazing exercise. I'm assuming these people have been practicing, exercising. I mean, all these plans are in place. That's the point we are trying to say, is that in any contingency, it is the job of the National Security Council, among others, Secretariat among others, to put together, and of course the integrated defense staff, to put together plans as to, if this happens, this is what we'll use, this is what we'll deploy, this is how far we'll take it. How far you'll take it is a political command.
Understood.
What weapon to use is your choice.
Dr. Karta, now, as I was discussing with our correspondent based in Srinagar, the ceasefire violations, we're in the 15th day of ceasefire violations, or night of ceasefire violations. The last 3 nights saw heavy shelling which is happening. Should we still be calling this a ceasefire violation, or is it a full-on fight at this point which is now happening? There is no ceasefire because clearly Pakistan has not adhered to it in over 2 weeks now.
That's actually a very good question. I don't know if it is it's a good question, but I think both sides, see, this has happened before. It is action replay. So you've had these periods, maybe about 10 years back, when you had this pretty much similar stuff happening, but not at this level, of course. You had firings where terrorists would then come in. So at some point, I think the Pakistanis literally asked us, please, let's stop this, because it was becoming very, very expensive for them. Right now, this is restarted because, see, the options with them are, at the moment, hopefully, are few. I mean, I'm assuming they also don't want to escalate beyond a point. So the easiest option for you is to fire across it is no longer the line of control because the Shimla Accord has been abrogated. It is, that, so the legality of that line is now open to your interpretation. Because Pakistan has said Shimla Accord is not there. So you are free to go in and correct the line at various points wherever you want to. And they will do the same.
Shimla Accord is definitely compromised at this point, as we've been seeing the last 15 days. But just in extension to what you just mentioned regarding escalations, the first escalation happened on the 22nd of April, which came from Pakistan's side. India has only been responding. And as India's officers made it clear in the presser yesterday as well, that India is going to be responding in the same intensity and in the same domain as Pakistan. But from India's side, India only targeted terror sites, whereas Pakistan, on the other hand, is targeting civilians, military sites. That's why they don't take much time to retaliate. It happens instantly as soon, because they don't really have to calculate much, is what it seems like. Just last night, ma'am, apart from the fighting, which is of course taking place with heavy shelling around the LOC, whatever it means at this point, even though it remains fluid. That happened around 9 p.m. That's what our correspondent shared with us. Swarms of drones, which also started coming in towards Jammu, Pathankot, Udhampur. That also happened around 8:30, 9 p.m. That's if we can put it down to a time. And the infiltration attempt, which was foiled by the BSF in Samba district, again close to Jammu, that happened around 11 p.m. So the Pakistani playbook seems to be very much similar, that you distract or you deter and try to push your terrorists into India. India seems to be perfectly in tune with what Pakistan has been doing since decades, but far more equipped now. Please go ahead.
Yeah, it's that infiltration bids which are worrying me.
Understood.
My assumption is that in that 2 weeks between the Pahalgam attack and what we carried out, they have already tried to push in as much as possible. It's not just through the line of control, through the line of control, okay, let's call it that. And through other borders, through Nepal, through anywhere, through Bangladesh, wherever they can, they will try and infiltrate. So that possibility we have to keep in mind. Number two is I'm seeing some very poisonous posts on Twitter.
Yes.
They are going to try and erode your communal harmony. That is an area which the government has recognized and has issued alerts. And I think now, very good move by PIB. They've started a fact check site. So much of rubbish. So it's a multi-domain warfare. This is typical what we call multi-domain warfare. When a weaker enemy headed by a general whose life is on the line, unless he wins this, he will follow the rest of his predecessors whom he has put into jail.
Yes.
He will probably have a worse fate. So when it becomes a personal, this is my fight, either I win or I die, that's when it gets dangerous.
And we haven't really seen him in public ever since he made that address. So it seems, which has kind of fueled the Pahalgam attack, and then which has led to entire board of actions that have taken place ever since. But at this point, ma'am, the infiltrations definitely seem to be a worrying factor. India is now responding adequately, proportionately, and giving a very, very firm response, as India's External Affairs Minister also mentioned to the Iranian Foreign Minister that when they met yesterday, that India is going to be giving a very, very firm response. Do you feel this conflict is going to be protracted?
I'm hoping not,
yes.
But that is clearly what Pakistan wants. It is very clear. They tried, the whole point of that terrorist attack was to pull you into war. It was so clear that that was the idea. They wanted to get you in, because for years, and I think I've said this on other channels, at least since maybe the last 6-7 years, who has been talking about Pakistan? They are not even, nobody was bothered about them. And even to put it slightly lightly, even tariffs, nobody even bothered to put tariffs on Pakistan. So they were completely ignored. Now they're back in the limelight. There's going to be a bunch of leaders calling them. People are coming in to see them. They're going to start to bargain. Now, I just saw, I think it's on your thing, a post saying that they're asking for loans from anywhere because they're under war. So their strategy is to say, we are crazy, which all of us know. They're crazy, they're nuts. Because we are attacking terrorist sites which are legitimate and designated by the United Nations. Remember, Murid ke Bahawalpur, the addresses are there in the United Nations sanctions list. We attacked those.
Yes.
What did you attack?
Civilians and military infrastructure. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, so I'm very concerned by what I'm most concerned about.
No,
is the lack
yes.
of... Yeah.
India always has taken its time to carry out its attacks, its strikes, which are always being calculated, and they've been measured, because India will always go after terrorist infrastructure. That is what, and this would never reckon any kind of escalation from the Pakistani side. But Pakistan will take no time in retaliating. We saw that after the Balakot airstrikes also. They scrambled their jets towards India in 2019. For them, civilian infrastructure, civilian sites, military sites, anyone, there seems to be no calculation on that front. But as you very clearly mentioned, ma'am, there are very poisonous posts which are doing the round on social media, and we definitely encourage everyone to please follow the government's PIB fact check handle, which is there on X, which is demystifying and decoding all these fake posts and putting them out to inform everyone not to believe them. Dr. Karta, thank you so much. Dr. Karta, thank you so much for joining me here on the broadcast. There will be more to discuss because Operation Sindur is very much on, and we will take it as it comes going forward. Lovely speaking with you.